Azatas are a race of celestials native to the plane of Elysium, where the pursuits of freedom and goodness are paramount. Azatas are champion of these concepts, great bards, knights and explorers who roam the plains in search of good folk in need of their help. Frequently they are described as elven or fey-like celestials. Azatas nonetheless have a strange inhuman shape to them that can take an elemental or eldritch form. Most have some knightly or courtly title, such as duke, countess or prince, apparently hereditary, perhaps from a celestial monarchy long abandoned and forgotten. Azatas do not exploit these titles to exert influence over each other, but instead use them for personal identification or a bit of self-importance. They are deadly and resolute foes of evil, fearless and clever in battle. It is not surprising that the three best known kinds of Azata can all fly, for they rarely stay in one place for long and prefer the thrill of motion and discovery to creature comforts. Most Azata settlements are little more than a collection of tents around a landmark, gathered over the course of a day to share news, stories, and perhaps some good-natured duels, and then pack up a few days later. Such temporary settlements are colourful and have a celebratory atmosphere, as Azatas are quick to greet any of their kind as old friends. Although few can predict when and where an Azata community might arise, some groups or breeds of Azata gather in cycles for traditional festivals and reunions. Such gatherings typically take place at a time of mystical consequence, such as an evening of the lunar equinox, or during less predictable times, such as upon the wedding of two seers, and always in a place of pristine and stunning natural wonder. All Azatas fundamentally know when and where the closest or next gathering of their people might occur, and while none are required or even expected to attend, all are welcome. These gatherings do not preclude more permanent Azata holdings and communes. However, the heights of Elysium endlessly ring with the songs of Azata choirs. While the stoic and homebound Archons call their cousins flighty, Azatas are driven by a crusading nature and feel bored when forced to stay in one place for too long. This tendency also means they are unlikely to agree to serve mortals for an extended period of time, preferring to arrive, get the job done, and move on to some other quest or challenge. As much as they seek to spread the cause of freedom and joy, Azatas realize that they cannot enforce such virtues throughout the multiverse. Without darkness there can be no light, and without struggle there can be no victory. Understanding this, these Celestials remain removed from the majority of mortal conflicts, preferring to act as advisors in such situations rather than champions, granting goodly mortals ownership over their triumphs. In cases where the forces of evil act overtly, however, and intrude upon mortal worlds, Azatas are quick to rally and defend such realms, and aid those who have no hope of defending themselves. Azatas generally work together, but their powerful personalities and strong sense of individual freedom often see them disagreeing on how to best handle a particular situation. While both parties have a greater good at heart, these arguments can fester and grow into long-lasting grudges. In cases where a single Azata is convinced that his way is right, he might enter a sort of self-imposed exile, abandoning the support of his kin so he can launch a one Azata crusade against the cruelties of the multiverse. Most Azatas originate from the untamable beauty of Elysium, created and nourished by the influx of goodly mortal souls. Like most other outsiders, they cannot reproduce with each other in the mortal fashion. However, they may have trysts with mortals who prove to be charming and good-spirited. Azatas dally frequently with their own kind, being quick to seek out feelings of love, joy, and companionship, but rarely do they feel bound or have exclusive relationships with one lover, regardless of its race. Brillani. Silver white hair the colour of lightning strikes whips around this poised elf-like archer, his eyes swirling with vibrant colours. Brillanis are among the fiercest and wildest of the Azatas, living from moment to moment and always on the lookout for a chance to test their skill in battle. In addition to their elf-like forms, they can take the shape of whirlwinds of dust, snow, or sand. In the mortal realm, they are often mistaken for Jinn, and they delight in violent weather, not for the destructive qualities of such events, but for the intensity and the energy, and many tales describe Brillani as spirits who laugh as they sail amidst the strongest storms. Brillanis need not to eat, but they do enjoy doing so. Most prefer elven food, fiery human dishes, and spiced wine. Because of their similarities to both elementals and fae, they sometimes act as intermediaries between mortals, elementals, and fae, though they prefer to arrange temporary truces that allow the interested parties to conduct their own negotiations on neutral ground. When taking the role of mediators, or whatever else the opportunities present themselves as, Brelanis are quick to suggest friendly competitions or games to end disputes, and enjoy creating challenges or complicated contests to test both physical and mental prowess. Gale. This elegantly armoured sentinel stands alert, her eyes radiating divine light and her noble blade crackling with power. Gales are the most knightly of Azatas, hunting fiends and dragons and undead with equal vigour. Most appear like idolised humans or elves and are quick to smile, and equally quick to strike those they perceive as wicked. Gales move with unfathomable speed when they transform into light itself. They can often be seen racing across the landscape as the dawn light chases away the night. Liland. This creature has a body of a seductive, winged, elven woman from the waist up, and that of a snake from the waist down. Among the Azatas, Liland are the tale-tellers and the chroniclers, gathering lore and recording stories in the form of epic poems and songs. They are generally peaceful, though they are swift to act if they believe a piece of rare art or talented artist is threatened. A Liland's lower section is about 20 feet long, and a typical Liland weighs 3,000 pounds. Although they have no need for mortal nourishment, it is said that Lilands sup on the joy of music and art and performance. They also love the unspoiled wilderness and seek places in the mortal realm that remind them of the beauty of their home. From the lore of numerous races come tales of these muses, particularly those that have taken vested interest in the training of a single talented prodigy or on the ongoing creation of some fantastic work of art. Such legends sometimes prove true, as all Lilands have their favourite works, creations and artists, and will often visit the material plane to enjoy their splendour and make sure that they remain safe. In defence of such beauty, Lilands prove passionate foes, calling upon the might of nearby allies and crushing Philistines with their striking but deadly coils. Brigidine. This beautiful woman has flesh made of lava. She soars through the sky on a trail of fire. Brigidines are passionate and powerful Azatas, attuned to the power of earth and fire. They love basking in volcanoes, writing poetry, tending to the sick, and pursuing spicy recipes. The quickest way to befriend a Brigidine is to present her with a fireproof copy of an exotic poem or a bag of rare chili peppers. Although their power is tied to primal destruction, they are quick-witted and love clever wordplay, whether it's a sonnet or a dirty limerick. The Brigidine sees fire as a form of purity, a marked difference from its classical association with devastation and destruction. To a Brigidine, the existence of a hellfire is the rankest of blasphemy. And while many Azatas look to the demons of the abyss as their greatest enemy, it is among the devils of hell that most Brigidines find their focus of their anger. The fact that devils are immune to fire, the Brigidine's greatest strength, frustrates and angers these Azatas more than ever, forcing them to become far more imaginative and creative in their tactics when facing such foes. A Brigidine stands just over 5 feet tall and weighs around 150 pounds. Lyricean. This little woman has a lithe form and delicate butterfly wings. She is surrounded by sparkling lights and gentle rainbow arcs. Lyriceans are divine musicians, messengers, and mainly in the employ of deities of travel and natural wonders. They love to explore and visit beautiful places, especially locations with excellent views of rainbows, moonlight, and stars. Whimsical and joyous, they love contests of song, dance, and knowledge, and keeps the journey happy by distracting their companions from weary feet and stale food. Mortals who please them with excellent tales or new songs may be rewarded with elaborate maps that show forgotten shortcuts, rambling directions, or the location of a secret hidden item. Lyrican are light-hearted creatures, but they are very protective of their breathtaking natural locations. Often called glisten wings by gnomes and halflings, Lyricans are frequently mistaken for fae. While they are generally friendly to true fae, their origin is the plane of Elysium. Like other Azatars, they grow restless if they stay in one place for too long. Sometimes a spellcaster with a particularly good heart and a strong wanderlust may find themselves in the company of a Lyrican familiar. Lyricans make excellent travelling companions, but loathe to be stuck anywhere like a library or wizard's tower. Check the description of this video to find some stat blocks for these unique monsters for your next 5th edition game.